the game.
Hi, I'm Kelsa Dickey, the CEO of the Financial Coach Academy and my financial coaching business, Fiscal Fitness Phoenix. My coaching journey began more than a decade ago with me helping people for free from my dining room table. What was once a little business of mine has grown into a 7-figure company that employs a team of people. My goal is simple: to help you fall more and more in love with financial coaching. I believe financial coaching is the most rewarding way to make a living. If you are an aspiring financial coach or have been coaching for years, I'm here to help you create a business you love that gets your clients massive results. Let's get to it. Hey, financial coach, welcome to episode 56. Today, we're going to be talking about using YouTube as a marketing strategy for your financial coaching business. And I am really excited. I am going to have a special guest today, somebody who is way better at YouTube than I am. His name is Sai. He is my special guest for today's episode. Sai hit just over 25,000 subscribers on YouTube with his channel, Fireside Chat. He started his financial coaching business in October of 2021. He has gained clients from Alaska to Florida using YouTube as a marketing strategy. So let's welcome Sai to the show. Hi, look at that book behind you. How fancy. But I'm next to a turkey. Is this a turkey on your shelf?
Yeah, so that is a chicken actually that I got from Oktoberfest in Germany. It is a dancing chicken that if I turn it on, it'll start singing and stuff too. So it's a weird thing to have, but it's something that something I wanted to remember from Germany. But yeah, that book next to it is your book, and I've been reading it since October 2021, and I still keep it. And every once in a while, I still go in there and read a few pages that I bookmark, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? Okay, cool. There we go.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad. Give us an idea of sort of which came first, coaching or YouTube, and how did it kind of go in the direction that it went?
Yeah, so it started with coaching. So when I started out, I had an idea of how I wanted to set up my business model. I wanted to help people. That was the first and foremost. I need to have a purpose and my intention of how I wanted to help my clients. So the problem was that I really didn't know how to market myself, especially for someone like me. I was living, I still live in Vegas. And all right, so should I use YouTube advertisement? Should I use Google advertisement to market myself to see what kind of clients I could get? But I was in the military. I was active duty, so I was specializing in the military finances. So I wanted to coach and help as many military members, retirees, and disabled veterans on their finances because they, when I was active duty, they never once taught us how to do TSP budgeting, how to pay off debt, and stuff like that. So I started with coaching, and then the second I went on to the marketing strategy.
Awesome. I love it. First of all, thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
So who would you say YouTube is best for?
So I would say YouTube is best for everyone. Everyone, that's starting with plumbers, artists, even Mr. Beast started with nothing, right? He started with 0 subscribers. And for my niche, we need more financial coaches. So financial coaches, they primarily go out there to help people with their budgeting, saving money, and be more disciplined with money. But what I quickly realized, even after over 2 years of doing YouTube, is that not everyone wants me. Not everyone wants me to be their financial coach. Reason number one, I'm not specifically in that niche. Maybe they may want a female coach instead of a male coach. Maybe someone who wants to be more in a nonprofit 403b, that type of a financial coach, or other categories, right? So when you talk about financial coaches, there's so many niches that people want. So when they say, all right, I found Sai, and he's good with TSP, he's good with government finances, but he's not really for me because he doesn't really, that kind of thing is where I'm going at. But the YouTube itself has become the number 2 search engine in the world. And I read these earnings reports every month because I'm a nerd, right? But Alphabet, which owns Google, YouTube, and all those companies, they have $2.7 billion monthly active users. So 2.7 billion people are on YouTube every single month. So when I first read about that back in 2021 with YouTube, with the Google earnings report, I'm like, man, there's some crazy space on YouTube. And the creator economy, Forbes even
Mhm.
published that there's going to be about $22 billion generated in the creator economy just from AdSense, affiliate marketing, and all that stuff too. So the opportunity is out there. And it doesn't matter if you're a financial coach, you may have a different channel and you want to talk about how to, make a shelf, how to do woodworking. It's for everyone.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I love that. There was a couple of years there where like I never really went to YouTube for anything, and I read the same thing that is like one of the number one search engines and that sort of thing. And I started thinking like I should probably go there and search every once in a while. And it's amazing. Like you can find a training video or tutorial video on everything, right?
Oh yeah.
And I totally agree with you. I think when you first start your business, you think you're going to help everybody. And sort of money, I think, is seen as a bit more general. And then the more people you help, the more you start to realize, God, there's just so much specificity to it. And everyone's unique. And you can really start to carve out your own little niche, your own little piece of that pie. And then you realize there's all these other pie pieces. I need somebody to take these. I need somebody to be like gobbling up this
Yeah.
pie pieces, right? Like I need somebody to take them. So really any niche. I love that. Did you know when you first started that you enjoyed recording videos? Or was it something that you figured out as you went along? So I guess I'm just thinking like the person sitting at home, they're like, I don't really know anything about having a video or recording videos or scripting or editing videos. Do you think that matters, or should they just sort of dive in?
I would say just dive right in. That's what I did. My first video, you can actually still view on my channel. Just sort through the oldest video. It was probably the worst video I've ever done, but it was about a video on how to calculate your financial independence number. But the title itself, it had more clicks than I expected with zero subscribers because people were curious about what I was going to talk about. Now, there were a lot of pauses, all that stuff too. But I used my iPhone to start
Mm.
recording, and it was like an iPhone, I think it was a 12 or maybe 11. And I just started recording myself and I said, this is how you calculate your financial independence number, this, and that. And then when I was done, I didn't know much about editing, so I published it. It did okay initially. I had like zero views for the first couple months, and then when people started searching for that, the views started to go up, and that's when I realized I'm like, okay, maybe this is going somewhere. And then I got better one video at a time. So second video, I cut out the ums. Third video, I cut out all the pauses in between because what people want is they want you to cut to the chase and they want you to get to the point. Answer my question. How do I achieve financial independence? Here's how to do it. Step 1 through step 10. And then when you're done, then you move on and you can even expand on that too. What is financial independence, right? Uh, that could mean investing in a 401k. That could be having $1 million in net worth, that kind of thing. So you can expand that even more on YouTube. It's endless.
Yeah, no, I love that. Okay, so I'm curious how you would recommend a financial coach to use YouTube. And do you also use YouTube and Instagram Reels and TikTok and like all those kinds of things? Because we were talking about some of your numbers on, because you've got decent sized platforms on everything, but it really originates with YouTube. Is that correct?
Yes. So I started with YouTube when TikTok wasn't really that big of a thing. But how I do it is I actually repurpose my videos, turn them into shorts. I'm sure you use shorts as well
Mm-hmm.
for your channel. So when
Hmm.
you talk about let's say I had a 20-minute video about, how to start contributing to a 401k. And I can cut a 60-second segment inside that 401k. The personal contribution limit for 2023 is 22,500. And I cut that, put it on the Instagram reel and TikTok. Now I'm, drawing different types of crowds and they come over to YouTube. And this is the key too. You have to put your YouTube links on the other websites so that they can say, I just watched 60 seconds of this guy's video. Interesting. I want to expand on that. I'm going to click on this guy's YouTube link and watch the full 20 minutes. Now I got myself a subscriber if that person got some value out of it. So it's not just, I don't just make videos for YouTube
Hmm.
exclusively, but I now I have a video editor, but they do cut those specific segments to attract more subscribers, more views, so that they can see the full breakdown. In this example, a 401k and how it works.
Did you start with just going on YouTube though? So now you go to Instagram and TikTok and that kind of thing, but did you just sort of start with like, I'm going to publish this somewhat raw because I didn't know anything about editing to YouTube, and it was just on YouTube for a while?
Yeah, it was YouTube for a while. The shorts weren't really a thing until late 2022 when Instagram Reels came out. They became a big thing for Instagram. Instagram used to be just pictures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some videos and not a whole lot of Reels. TikTok became a huge thing during the pandemic. So when that happens, that's when I started to realize that, huh, not everybody wants to watch the 20-minute videos or 15
Mm-hmm.
minute videos or 10-minute videos, but they want to get that 60-second information and say, that was a lot of good information in 60 seconds. Now I'm going to go to YouTube. So I started with YouTube and then slowly expanded to Instagram. I have subscribers on Instagram, followers, and TikTok followers. And then they're all like different types of crowds too. So
Yeah. I do think one of the benefits of YouTube is it does create one of the easiest content repurposing strategies that exists, I think. So typically it can be really overwhelming for a coach to sort of figure out like what is my marketing funnel going to be, or what platform am I going to choose. And I always recommend just pick one platform that you think you can be the most consistent with to start, and just focus on that one platform. And then Google, after you sort of get started on that, then you can Google content repurposing strategy, right? Because there's a
mhm.
whole strategy out there of repurposing your content no matter which platform you start with. But I will say that I think starting with YouTube, whether it's for a podcast or just a recurring video series like you have, it is one of the easiest pieces of content to then repurpose on all the other platforms. So I just wanted to share that
Absolutely.
really quickly. Awesome. Okay, so you were sharing with me before the interview about some of the different types of content you create, whether it's long form videos. What are some of those strategies that you can share as far as like if somebody wants to use YouTube, what are some really key steps that they should be taking, or things that they should focus on as far as long term videos help you get clients, short term videos do this, like that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I put quality over quantity first. When I first started the YouTube channel, it was just one video per week. Well, first of all, I didn't know much about video editing, so I had to take some time to learn that on my own. I didn't have money to, hire an editor and all that, but I focused on quality. And then when I put quality in a video from start to finish, and making sure that people can get value out of it. So taking out all of the, what I realized, because at the beginning I used to say, "Hey, I'm Sai. Welcome back to my channel, and my story is this, this, and that." And what I realized is that people did not care about my story as much. They just wanted to come click on my video and see if I provided some type of value. So what I focused on was the content and the transition. So when I type a script about a video I'm going to make, say IRA, right? Roth IRA from start to finish. This is how you do it. Cool. And in the middle of it, that's where I kind of do if you have more questions about this, Roth IRA, you can contact me by using the link in the description below, or, you just put a link to the website where they can reach you, right? So that's my purpose, is that I want people to reach out to me when they have more questions about their personal finances. They just watch the video and they want to know where to go from there. That's really the key too. And the second key is the title. Title matters. Title and thumbnail absolutely matter. So here's an interesting one. I follow this channel called Think Media. They're based out of Vegas, and all they do is teach people how to start a YouTube channel. So I went to their conference last year. I met some people and I talked to them, and they did a video on this that was really interesting. Netflix spent a lot of money on a study on thumbnail clicks, how long it takes an individual to go through titles. So if you ever go on Netflix and you look at the title of the movies, what movies do we want to watch? what they found is that each person spends on average 1.8 seconds on each thumbnail. So when they look at your title and say, Kelsa Dickey, Financial Coach Academy, what is she talking about? Okay, how to attract more clients on YouTube. I want to be a financial coach. I'm interested in that. But if your thumbnail is too cluttered, and if it's
Mm-hmm.
like something that has nothing to do with the title, people are not even going to click on it. So
Mm-hmm.
title, thumbnail really matter, because when you put so much time into making this high quality video and then nobody clicks on it, right? So that's really the struggle that most YouTubers have, is that, oh, I made such a great video but nobody's clicking on it. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, when you think about title and thumbnail, think about curiosity, attention, right? When you people are gonna look at your thumbnail and say, Kelsa Dickey, Financial Coach Academy. I'm curious. And then you got my attention with that thumbnail, right? Not a clickbait, not like saying that I am completely broke, but in the video, you're not broke. You're just talking
Mm-hmm.
about something else. That's a clickbait, and people will not subscribe to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people click on the video, they're satisfied with the video, they got value out of it, then they subscribe to you because they want to get more out of it. So that's really the strategy that you really want to go into, is quality over quantity, good thumbnail, good title, and then put how and where they can reach you at when they want to reach out to you for further coaching.
Got it. I have definitely unsubscribed from content creators on YouTube, where if I go to their page and you see videos and you're like scrolling through all of their videos, if the thumbnails are really cluttered, or if the title of the video is not sort of in the same spot or the same font, or at least the same color font, or it's like not somewhat cohesive or consistent across all of them, so you're constantly like needing to find the title on the thumbnail with
Mm-hmm.
every video,
Yeah.
I will unsubscribe, because it's like it's not an enjoyable experience for some reason. I'm also the person who will literally only ever just scroll through Netflix, and I never actually find a show to watch. So something's going on. They need to like redo their study or something, because I'm the person who just will, I scroll for 30 minutes, then I'm like, nah, I don't ever watch TV, but I can never
Yeah.
find anything. I just scroll. So anyway, okay. So you were also telling me, and I just want to kind of clarify a couple of these things. Long form videos get you clients, short-term videos get you subscribers. And
Mm-hmm.
I definitely noticed that too. So we take these long form videos of the podcast and we turn them into shorts, and we definitely attract new people through that. Probably similar to like reels on Instagram are there to attract new people, right? And then your feed and stories and that kind of thing are how you nurture people. You talked about the thumbnails. Getting to the point is very important. So you had mentioned to me, stick to the what and the how, right? And probably
Yep.
away from the why is what it sounds like, or like your story, or like more about your history and that sort of thing.
I would keep the why till the end if you
Okay.
can.
Okay.
So, like, I would say, the most searched video on my channel was how to pay off a student loan. You know, that's, what, and then going to the video, I'm going to show you how. And then at the end, I share my experience on why I'm sharing this video about paying off the student loan, that kind of thing. So I would put the why towards the end of the video, because people are coming to your videos or your channel for the what and the how.
Okay. I didn't ask you this question ahead of time, so I hope you don't mind me sort of throwing this one at you, but I would actually love to hear, and I'm sure other people are curious. Can you give me an idea of like how you structure your day or your week for one video? So is it like I spend 2 hours a day on this, and then Tuesday it's this, and then so by Friday I have a new video? Or is it super random? Is it when inspiration strikes? I'm assuming you've got to be somewhat disciplined or methodical. So can you break down sort
Yeah.
of how you do this?
Yeah, so I have a content calendar that I share with my other contractors, people who work with me. It's months out. I
Okay.
am planning months out in advance for certain content. I look at the Federal Reserve. Like earlier today, I was on live stream just watching Jerome Powell, Federal Reserve Chairman, talking about the interest rate, how he was holding it steady. And that was on my content calendar for months in advance, because I knew that the FOMC meeting was happening today, and people on my channel are really interested in hearing that and my perspective on what's going on with interest rates, how that's going to affect our debts, student loans or credit cards, and all that stuff too. So um, for the live streams, I know in advance what I'm going to talk about, but for specific content videos that I'm going to make, those are kind of planned out about 2 weeks in advance, so that I can make sure that I do the research because the numbers constantly change.
Sure.
I want to make sure I get the right information when I put it out, and I also hold myself accountable if I say something wrong. And I would put it in the comments and say, "Hey, at this minute, at this second, I set the wrong number. I want to correct myself," and that's accountability. That's really
Sure.
huge too. So once I script it out and I have the outline on what I'm going to talk about, and I just hit record. And then when I finish recording, export it to my Final Cut Pro. I used to use iMovie, and I just edit my video. It used to take me about 4 or 5 hours to do it, and then publish the video or just schedule the video a week out so that I have more room to reschedule my videos if I have to. That's really the key is if something happens, like the government shutdown happening during November, a lot of my audience is either federal employees or military members, active duty guard, reserve. They care about that kind of stuff. So I moved some of the videos around and got on the unscheduled live stream and talk about what to expect during the possible government shutdown. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's actually I have to schedule things out, and I know what I'm gonna do, and I do have a system in place. But at the beginning, it was very overwhelming.
Yeah, no, good. Thank you. I'm so glad that you sort of shared all of those multiple steps. And I do think, anytime you do something new, you're going to have to figure it out as you go along. And then once you create the system and you know what works, it doesn't work, trying to be as methodical as possible. I feel like content creation, whether it's this podcast or YouTube, it's such a time warp. Isn't it? Because you are creating content or thinking about it months in advance. And so sometimes I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
this episode's going to drop. So, for example, this episode here with you isn't going to drop until February 15th, and we're recording it mid-December. It's not even December 15th yet. So it's like 2 months out
yeah,
sort of thing. So it is just sort of like this mind warp that happens where you're in a, back to the future sort of thing. So
yeah.
and mine's not even nearly as time sensitive as yours is. Like you were saying, like you're looking at, the rates and things that are happening in the world. Mine is not even like that. So I can't imagine how you're editing yours more real time. I'm curious how coaches can make money from YouTube. So there's their coaching business, and they could just do YouTube as sort of a funnel for clients to make, revenue, coaching clients. But then there is also an opportunity to actually make money from YouTube as well. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so you can be monetized with YouTube, Instagram, well they call it Meta, and as well as TikTok. I would say YouTube pays the most
Mm.
for all the AdSense and how many advertisers they have. They just came out with the new requirements back in October 2023 that the YouTube monetization requirements. So if you create shorts, you need to have, or not shorts, but also long form videos. In order for you to get the what's called a super chats, super thanks, or channel membership, that's kind of like a tipping program and saying that, oh,
Mm.
here's $2. Thanks for providing this video. You need to have at least 500 subscribers. And it was 3 public uploads in the last 90 days and then 3,000 watch hours in the last 12 months. The most difficult part is the watch hours. Is
Mm-hmm.
It's not about you can get five. I think I got to 500 subscribers in like probably 4 months. But getting 3,000 or 4,000 watch hours it took me like over a year and a half to get there to get fully monetized. And there's another program that YouTube has. It's called the YouTube Partner Program. So that one you're required to have 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours in the last 12 months. And if you only do shorts, you need to have 10 million views on YouTube Shorts in the last 90 days. So that one is really difficult. So a lot of people most of them stick to the long form content because that's a lot easier than doing 10 million views on Shorts. Once you get to 1,000 subscribers, you still have to wait until you get to 4,000 watch hours. So for those people watching, you probably know that when you go on YouTube video, you're going to see the advertisement in the first 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So the creators make a certain portion of that advertisement. So the advertisers pay YouTube, Google, right? And the Google or YouTube will pay YouTubers a certain percentage of that revenue and say, hey, thanks for putting out the content, and here's the advertisement. And there are a lot of requirements as far as what you can put out. But since I'm talking to financial coaches, your content is not going to be demonetized because you're not talking anything that's controversial. I know if you do certain content, you could get demonetized, and you also have to be careful with music. If you choose to do background music, you can get demonetized if you don't have the copyright free music, stuff like that. But once you make money from advertisement, it's when you hit that 4,000 watch hours, it just starts to grow from there.
Mm-hmm.
Even just I remember my first paycheck from YouTube was like $100. It was like $110, and I'm like, whoa, I made it. It was a really good moment to have. But then I had like maybe pretty close to 2,000 subscribers at the time, and I just hit 4,000 watch hours. But what I realized too, though, you can make money in so many ways, like affiliate marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I put The Millionaire Next Door on my shelf. It's my favorite book. That's how I started my financial journey, is reading that book. And then, there are other financial coaches who want to learn how to become a financial coach through you.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got your book on the back too. So they can go to the affiliate marketing and say, all right, here's the book that you can purchase. So when someone purchases a book, you get a cut from that too, from
Mm.
Amazon mostly.
Smart.
They do a
Mm-hmm.
really good job on that. So if you don't have a lot of subscribers, but you can still make money from affiliate marketing. And then once you hit more subscribers, more brand deals, they're going to reach out to you, sponsorship
Mm-hmm.
deals, brand deals. One time I had a wallet company wanted me to review their wallets. That has something to do with finances, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's more correlation to
Cool.
it. But I'm not going to do sponsorship with shoes because that has nothing to do with my channel. So
Right.
you have to pick and choose on what you need to do.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Interesting. Okay. Is it still true that, I mean, this has been monetized for a little while, but YouTube will pay you out once you reach $100, right? So it's like your first month you might earn $22, but that you don't get a check, or they don't put the money in your bank account until you reach 100. Is that still the case? Do you know?
Yeah, that is still the case.
Okay.
Yep.
I just remember watching that, like, oh, I'm at like $89. Next month, I'm going to actually get like my first payout from YouTube, right? Like, it can be pretty exciting.
Yep.
And especially like, I mean, I do it in order to get my message out there. I'm not doing it necessarily to make money from YouTube, but it's just a little extra perk, right? For all the production costs and all the kind of time and labor and that kind of thing. So it is exciting when you get that first check. You're like, yes, cool, right?
Yeah.
And I was actually, I just want to say, like, I'm not a tech savvy person. I was really surprised by how easy YouTube really does make it. So like once you are at the level where you can get monetized, there's like a little dashboard in there. I mean, it is relatively easy to set up. They do make it as easy as possible for the content creators, which I think is really good. So I just wanted to put that out there for anyone who's thinking about it. Okay, so I'm just curious what software and tools you use to monetize, produce, and edit your videos. I know it's pretty labor intensive, and I would love for you to talk to it from like, if you were brand new, just starting out, here's probably what you would use. So you mentioned iMovie or something like that, or compared to now when you've got some money that you can sort of invest into the process. Can you talk to it from those two perspectives? Also trusting that like somebody just starting out today, a year from now, totally different options that exist, I'm sure, but that's okay.
Yeah. So at the beginning, as I said, I used a smartphone. I used an
Mm-hmm.
iPhone. It had a 4K capability. What I started was a 4K 30 frames per second. I'm not very good with cameras, but that's what that channel that I mentioned, Think Media, was saying that everybody should use 4K 30 frames per second, and that's what I've been using. So I used my iPhone, and I got a tripod. I just mounted on there. It was a $5 tripod from Amazon. I already had my phone mounted on there, and I just started recording, right? And then, but get a good microphone. Your producer actually complimented me earlier, saying that, wow, your microphone is really good. Microphone matters. If your audio sucks, 50% of the time people will click out of it, because most of the time people are not watching what you're saying. They're listening to what you're saying. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So invest in a good microphone. And I did that. And at the beginning, I spent it was like a $20 microphone that you could plug into the aux cable into my iPhone. And I did that. It sounded okay. But what I realized is that there was too much background noises. So I've probably gone through 20 microphones in the past 2 years just to test everything out because good audio mattered to me. So right now, what you're hearing me right now, this is a microphone that is pointing at my head, and it's pointing down to me, so you can hear me loud and clear. And that's one investment that I'm like, man, well invested, because people will always come back and listen to what I'm saying instead of watching me. They don't really care what I look like, right?
And what
As
was that
far as
investment? Do you know, like what this microphone that you ended up getting compared to the
this
$20
microphone, I
one?
spent, yeah, this one I spent like 160.
Okay.
So
I still don't think that
160.
that is that bad. You think about some
No,
equipment that you might need. Like I feel like it's one thing that you need, right? So that's not
yeah,
bad.
you don't even need to use the audio dashboard that a lot of people use to change the mic. And I'm sure your producer has one too, like one of those to adjust the audios. You don't even need that. Just plug it in to your camera, and then just start recording. Make sure you say it to the microphone. I made that mistake on one of my videos, and the microphone was turning away. It was turned away from me. So that's one mistake that I did. I'm like, I had to re-record the whole thing. And as far as video editing goes, that is probably the most labor intensive one. Is using iMovie. If you have a Mac, iMovie is free. So if you already have a MacBook, it comes with an iMovie. Just export your video, import it, and then my first video, it took me all day to do it, hours, and just trying to get it right. And it still didn't come out great. But every video I used, it started to improve even more. And once I got really good at iMovie, I upgraded to Final Cut Pro, and I spent $300 on that software. That I purchased that with the YouTube money that I made. So that was really cool. Now, if you're not really good with video editing, there are so many YouTube videos that give you the full tutorial on how to edit that video. So I would recommend that. And there's a lot of videos that can guide you on, like, this is how you cut a video, this is how you connect the video, this is how you transition from one clip to another. It's all there. Again, YouTube.
Yeah, I like exactly right. No, I love it. Okay, so what were the first three steps a coach who's listening right now, who's thinking like, okay, yep, I'm going to do this. I'm going to throw my hat in the ring on YouTube as my marketing strategy for my coaching business. What are the first three steps that they should do? Where do they start?
Okay. So chances are, if you're already thinking about starting a YouTube channel, you already have some ideas in your head. Write those down. I wrote it down on a piece of napkin, and I had an idea on what I was going to do. So the second step is really to go to youtube.com and start a channel. It doesn't matter what the name is. You can have the weirdest name. People don't pay attention to your name until way later on. So just create a channel, okay? And then start making educational videos. Think about your first idea. What do you want to deliver to the people who might need to hear you, right? Student loan repayments or credit card debt, that kind of thing. How did I get out of, you can start with the title, say, how I got out of $10,000 in credit card debt. Ooh, I have a $10,000 credit card debt. I'm interested in hearing that, right? And make a good thumbnail, make a good title. And then here's the most important thing: make a video that answers a specific question that people seek. Okay. So if people are curious about what you're doing and how you did it, people will keep clicking it. That's all you have to do. Start a YouTube channel. Number two, make a video. Number three, publish the video. Even if your editing sucks, it's okay. Invite your friends and family. And that's what I did. I invited my friends and family to watch my channel. I had 10 subscribers, right? In the first month, I was like, yeah. And they watched my channel, and they're like, all right, here's the feedback that I got from you. You're going to get a lot of feedback from your friends and family. And they're like, all right, this video was pretty good, but can you cut the ums out? That was annoying, or, something like that. But make it better one video at a time. And don't make it too like marketing ish. Like, provide value, and then in the middle of it, and say, if you want to reach out to me, this is how you can reach me. I do that, and I say the same thing in every video, and say, and if you're interested in joining my private client program for financial coaching, you can go to visit me at firestarter.com/coaching, that kind of thing. And then people always remember that from every video. So 5 videos later, they reach out to me and say, hey, I watched like 20 of your videos, and I'm here. I'm interested in becoming your client. So what do I need to do? So step number four, I know there's only three, but four is invest in a good website. That's what I would do, is how to reach you. They want to see that you are credible. That's one thing that I learned in my first year, is that they want to see that credibility from you. Okay, you get a lot of good credibility. You provide good value in the videos, but now I want to see what kind of financial coach you are outside of YouTube. So that's really the most important thing too.
Yeah, yeah, that makes total sense. I like the idea of sort of a mind map. This is something I do in my business a lot when I'm trying to think of an idea or create content. Is I think of the nucleus is like the topic, right? So student loans could be a topic, let's say. And then I draw lines all around and just different things about student loans, the interest rates, repayment plans, where they come from, different types of student loans, like those types of things. And I do think the sort of how to blank is really great for YouTube. So once you make your mind map and then you think of all the different things that you could talk about student loans, then think about like how to do what, right? How to repay your student loans, how to find your payment amounts, how to log into your student loans, like all those different types of things. But I sort of think about it as like a mind map, or like you said, on a napkin would work just as great too, right? But get started. I think about some of my very first podcast episodes, not of this podcast, but my very first podcast a long, long time ago. It was called The Saver and the Spender. And it was Michael and I, Mr. Fiscal Fitness. We got together because he's a spender, I'm a saver. And it was every episode was about how we work together and how we communicate and different strategies we use and different methods of managing our money and talking about it and all that kind of stuff. And I go back to listen to some of those episodes, and they're bad too, right? Like they are really bad. Like we were sitting like in our, office at home or something at the time, recording them with not a great mic and not great editing and all of that. And I don't know about you, but like I look back on those so fondly. So I think newer content creators are so afraid of their first iteration of something. And someday you're going to look back on that and be like, oh my God, it was terrible. It wasn't very great. And at the exact same time that you think that, you're going to be like, I'm so proud of myself. Like I did that. Like, look at that was my first, look how far I've come, right? Like I do think that there is that thought too. So I just wanted to put that out there because I know you're talking about your very first video being bad, but it's still out there. You haven't deleted it. People ask me all the time, like, should I remove my old content? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Unless it's like really against your integrity or something, you just wouldn't give that advice anymore or something. And even then, you could even just update it with a little intro on it that says, hey, this was recorded at this time and I've since changed my mind or something, right?
Yeah, agree.
Okay. Anything else that you want to add for financial coaches on using YouTube or considering YouTube?
No, I don't think so. There's more to it, but
Yeah,
I know
of
we're
course.
constrained on time, but there's so much more to it. Engagement really matters. So engage with with the people that are commenting on your videos, and just make sure they'll come back to you. They love that you engage with them.
Do you ask questions or anything during your shows or your videos that you produce where you're asking questions so that they leave comments, or how do you boost engagement?
Yeah, so I always start the video with "Did you know?" Or "Hey, how do you feel?" Or "Did you know about this, this, and that?" And then what do what are your thoughts on this, right? And initially, within the first 30 seconds of people watching a video, they will comment. They don't even finish watching a video; they will just comment first and then finish the video and then leave a second comment. I was like, all right. So I
Super
answer a
smart.
question on the second comment, and engagement matters because people will ask and say, well, the interest rates are really tough right now, or inflation is really tough right now. Oh, okay. Here's a way to increase my savings rate. Got it. So it's important to add those questions, and you can do that too as a YouTuber. Like when you after you publish the video, you can leave a comment, a question in the comment section and say, "What are your thoughts on this?" And people will reply to that question and say, "Oh, my thoughts on this or that or whatever." It's really good engagement from there. The one thing to keep in mind is that there will be trolls in the comment section, and when people who
Of
don't
course.
like your video, you have to know how to take criticism, constructive criticism. There are people who just say, "Oh, your video sucks." Okay, cool. See ya. But I leave those comments in there because there are other people who say, "No, this video was really good," or they start arguing with each other, and I just go in there and like, "All right, cool, thanks, guys." So engagement really does boost the video views because people see that, wow, there are a lot of comments in this video. I want to hear and see what they're all talking about.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Thank you for saying that last part. That doesn't matter how good your video is, there's always going to be somebody who is just not right for, they disagree. That's totally okay. Just let it go, sort of thing. Okay, so I wanted to have you on as a guest and as a thank you for taking your time out today. I told you to ask me a question about financial coaching or about your business or anything. And so now we're going to just reverse the role here a little bit and end the episode with you asking me any question that you want to ask me.
Okay, so I thought about this all night. First of all, it's an honor to be on the show, and you really inspire me to start the financial coaching business. Um, First Google search, how do I become a financial coach? You were the first one on there, right?
Oh, good.
So 2 years later, yeah, and I'm like, all right, so now I want to expand. So I'm getting ready to take the Series 65 exam for those financial coaches who are listening and don't know what it is. Passing the exam will qualify me to function as a what's called an investment advisor representative, or IAR, basically financial advisor, which means I'll need to transform my financial coaching business into a registered investment advisor with the state and the SEC. So I've been coaching my clients since 2021, and I'm proud to say that I have a 100% retention rate with all of my clients. And I want to maintain that aspect of the business model. But do you have any tips on how to expand from financial coaching, and that's still the root of my business, but also to include the registered investment advisory model? And so I want to keep coaching, but I also want to give investment advice, if that makes sense.
Yes, the first thing I would say is you always want to decide the title that you lead with. So it doesn't matter if you're a financial coach and a credit repair specialist. Let's say you want to do both of those. It's really confusing for everybody when you're trying to be both all of the time. So my recommendation would be to lead with the investment advisor, lead with that title, and then say, as this person, this is my title, I also provide this level of support and coaching as part of that, if that makes sense. If you try to say, well, I'm a coach and an advisor, it's just confusing and it's not clear to the person. You sound wishy-washy. Right? So let's take the example of somebody who's doing credit repair and also coaching. It's like, are you looking for the person? This also helps you target your marketing, your messaging, everything when you sort of say, like, here's the title I lead with. So I'm attracting people who, let's say, want help with better managing their money. As a financial coach, I'm going to provide coaching services to them. And as part of their coaching, they need help cleaning up their credit. And so I'm going to do that as sort of a side business as well, as part of their my coaching program. Or do I start with credit and attract people who just have this very specific need? They say, I want to clean up their credit. And then I help them with that. And then after I do that, I say, hey, would you also like to continue coaching? Does that make sense? So now that you've cleaned up your credit, would you like to better manage your money? So it's sort of like, is it A plus B or B plus A? And it doesn't really matter. Although I would say, I just sort of recorded some episodes about this, which is that I do think when you're an advisor who's also doing coaching, I do think just sort of for regulation purposes, for transparency purposes, for just the clarity's sake of making sure that it doesn't feel like a bait and switch to people, right? Like you were talking about, people hate having a bait and switch perform on them, right? And I do think, unfortunately, when you start with coaching and then say you're an advisor and can offer sort of that investment advice, I promise you that feels like a bait and switch to people, versus like, I'm an advisor who also offers coaching, actually doesn't feel, it feels like an amplified version of your investment advice. It feels like you're sort of amplifying it and providing even more value, versus the alternative where it's like, I'm a coach and, oh, by the way, I can also do this for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it does.
So because of that, what you're going to want to look at is, there's probably, what I want you to do is think about the changes that you sort of see coming, and, start thinking about that now before you pass the test and all of that, is what do I want my overarching brand to be about now, right? Like, what is the big things? And what I would look at is, don't think about this as a major pivot. Think about it as refinement. It's going to be way easier to think about that way, versus like, I have to overhaul everything. I have to like redo my website. All the messaging on it has to be different. That's not true. It's just, how can I refine this to be a bit more clear given this new focus that I'm sort of taking? Because it does sound like it's in alignment with what you've already been doing. It's not a massive pivot at all based on some of the topics you talk about on your YouTube and that kind of thing. It truly is just clarity and refinement of the niche that you've already been serving. So think about it that way, and it makes it so that your brain can sort of like comprehend some of the changes and tackle a little bit better.
Absolutely. Yeah. And financial education is my top priority. That's always going to be the core business model, is to coach people, provide education. And, Series 65 is just going to give me that ability to give investment advice. I'm still kind of debating if I want to become a broker dealer in the future, maybe. But, once I have my firm registered as a RIA, or, then I can maybe hire more people to
Sure.
do all that. But right now it's more like, all right, I would like to give investment advice on certain things, but yeah, more to come, I guess. So
I would
really
also
appreciate
look
that.
at where you're planning to sort of hang your license as far as the rules they have on your content creation platform and
Mhm.
how you're creating content, because some of them, are put kibosh on that and they don't want you to do it at all. So just something
Yeah.
else to consider. So, but good luck. And you can just take it one step at a time, right? You don't have to have the 5-year plan sort of figured out. If it's all based on education, then you're on the right track. So thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through
Thank
your
you.
YouTube strategy and sort of how you got started and your content creation calendar and all of that. This was awesome. I do want to share some of the ways that people can connect with you. Your Facebook page is named Fireside Chat, and that is PSY. We'll link to all of this in the show notes as well, but it's facebook.com/Fireside Chat. Your YouTube handle is youtube.com/@Fireside Chat, which is great. You're consistent across all of them. Thank you so much for your time and for educating us today.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.